somewhere in the cold and dark of the outer solar system, buried beneath miles of solid ice, there is more liquid water than in every ocean on Earth combined. No sunlight has ever reached it, and we are no longer sure that it is empty. For most of human history, we searched for life on the surfaces of other worlds. We stared at Mars, at Venus, at the dry red dust and the poisoned skies, and we mostly found disappointment. But we were looking in the wrong place. The real prize was never on the outside. It was underneath. Across our solar system, a handful of small, frozen moons are hiding vast, warm, salty oceans beneath their shells of ice. Scientists now call them ocean worlds. This is the story of 3 of them: a cracked moon of Jupiter, a tiny moon of Saturn that sprays its ocean into space, and a hazy world with seas of liquid fuel. Each one is a place where alien life might already exist. But first, a puzzle. These moons orbit hundreds of millions of miles from the sun, far beyond the reach of its warmth. Out there, water should be frozen solid, all the way down. So how are these oceans staying liquid? The answer is gravity. As each moon swings around its giant planet, that planet's gravity squeezes and stretches it over and over on every single orbit. The endless flexing creates friction deep inside, and friction makes heat. It is called tidal heating. It is enough heat to melt ice into oceans without a single ray of sunlight. And where there is liquid water and energy here on Earth, there is always life. That one idea has redrawn the entire map of where we might not be alone. Start with Europa. It is one of the 4 great moons of Jupiter, a little smaller than our own moon, and from a distance it looks almost peaceful. A pale, cream-colored world, and one of the smoothest objects in the entire solar system. But look closer, and that smooth surface is laced with long, dark cracks, thousands of miles long. Something is fracturing this ice again and again, from the inside out. And that something is the ocean moving beneath it. Beneath a frozen shell thought to be roughly 10 to 20 miles thick, lies a global ocean of salty liquid water, and it may be 60 miles deep. In that single hidden sea, there could be twice as much water as in all of Earth's oceans put together. Think about that. A moon smaller than ours, holding double the water of our entire planet, sealed under ice and hidden from view for billions of years. We only suspected it was there from the way the cracks shift and the way the ice behaves. In some places, the surface collapses into jumbled fields of ice blocks, frozen mid-chaos, as if the shell melted from below and refroze. Scientists call it chaos terrain. It hints that the ocean and the surface are connected, trading material back and forth. And that connection changes everything. If the ocean below can reach the surface, then whatever is dissolved in that water, including the chemistry of life itself, might be within reach of a passing spacecraft, without ever having to drill through the ice. Now travel outward, to Saturn, and to a moon so small it could nearly fit inside a single country on Earth. Enceladus is barely 300 miles across, a brilliant white snowball, and the most reflective body in the whole solar system. For a long time, no one expected much from something this tiny. A moon this small should be a dead, frozen rock. But when the Cassini spacecraft flew close to its south pole, it saw something no one had predicted. Enceladus was alive. From giant cracks near its south pole, towering plumes of water vapor and ice were erupting hundreds of miles up into space, feeding one of Saturn's rings. This little moon was leaking its own ocean straight out into the void. And that was the gift of a lifetime. Instead of landing and drilling, Cassini simply flew through the spray and tasted it. The plume was a free sample of a hidden alien ocean, launched into space for us to catch. What it found was staggering. The spray held salt just like a sea. It held tiny grains of silica that, on Earth, form only around hot hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor. Enceladus was not just wet, it was warm at the bottom. Cassini also detected molecular hydrogen, a source of chemical energy, the exact kind of fuel that feeds microbes around deep-sea vents on our own planet. Then came organic molecules, the carbon-based building blocks that every living thing we know is made from. And locked inside the salty ice grains, scientists found phosphorus, one of the essential ingredients of DNA and living cells, and often the hardest of all to find. Piece by piece, Enceladus was ticking off nearly every item on the checklist for life. Water, warmth, energy, the building blocks, all of it on a frozen moon we once dismissed as a dead snowball. If life ever began somewhere beyond Earth, it is hard to imagine a more promising place than the dark seafloor of Enceladus. But not every ocean world is made of water. Return to Saturn, to its largest moon, and to the strangest of them all. Titan is bigger than the planet Mercury, and it is the only moon in the solar system wrapped in a thick, hazy atmosphere. That atmosphere is so dense and so orange that for decades we could not see the surface at all. Titan hid its face behind a smoggy veil, a world-sized mystery orbiting out in the dark. We had almost no idea what lay underneath. Then, in 2005, the Huygens probe parachuted down through that haze and touched down, the most distant landing humanity has ever achieved. And the world it revealed was eerily, hauntingly familiar. Titan has clouds and rain and rivers. It has lakes and seas large enough to sail across, with shorelines and dunes sculpted by the wind. In the photographs, it looks almost like a cold and alien version of Earth. But there is a twist. On Titan, it is far too cold for liquid water. There, water is frozen as hard as rock. The rain that falls, the rivers that flow, and the seas that fill its basins are not water at all. They are liquid methane and ethane, the very stuff we burn as fuel. It is a complete, working world with its own weather cycle, just built from utterly alien chemistry. And that raises one of the most profound questions in all of science. Could a different kind of life, one that swims in methane instead of water, ever arise in seas like these? No one knows, but Titan is rich in the complex carbon chemistry that, long ago, may have set the stage for life on our own planet. It is a natural laboratory, frozen at the very beginning of the story, waiting for us to read it. For a long time, these were only tantalizing hints, gathered by spacecraft passing by on their way somewhere else. But that era is over. We are no longer just glancing at these worlds. We are going back on purpose to answer one question. Is anybody there? In October of 2024, a Falcon Heavy rocket thundered off the pad carrying Europa Clipper, the largest spacecraft NASA has ever built for a planetary mission. Its target is Jupiter's cracked ocean moon, and its job is to learn whether Europa could support life. After a journey of more than 5 years, it will slip into orbit around Jupiter in 2030 and make nearly 50 close flybys of Europa, skimming just above the ice. It will map the ocean below, measure the shell, and even fly through any plumes it can find. And a second mission is even bolder. It is called Dragonfly, and it is not a lander or an orbiter. It is a nuclear-powered flying drone, a rotorcraft about the size of a car, designed to take off and soar through the thick skies of Titan. Set to launch in 2028 and arrive in the 2030. Dragonfly will hop from site to site across Titan's dunes and frozen plains, sampling the chemistry of an alien world firsthand, hunting for the fingerprints of the processes that lead toward life. For the first time, humanity is actively searching for alien life, not in some distant galaxy, but on the moons right next door. And the answer, one way or another, may arrive within our own lifetimes. For centuries we assumed we were the solar system's only ocean, the one blue world in a lifeless dark. We were wrong. The oceans are everywhere, hidden under ice, kept warm by gravity, waiting in the black. The only question left is whether, in one of those buried seas, something is quietly swimming in the dark, waiting to be found. We are finally going to look. Subscribe and follow the missions that will find out if we are truly alone.